You think Cain killed Abel just because he was jealous? Nope, that's only part of the story. The real reason goes much deeper, and when you see it, you might even recognize a little bit of Cain in yourself. But don't worry, I'm not saying you'd murder your sibling. At least I hope not. So, let's break this down. Genesis 4 introduces us to Cain and Abel, Adam and Eve's first kids. Cain, the older brother, is a farmer, growing crops from the ground. Abel, the younger one, is a shepherd, taking care of flocks. One day, they both decide to bring an offering to God. Abel brings the best of what he has, the firstborn of his flock. Cain brings, well, some of his crops. Notice the difference? The Bible doesn't say Cain brought the first or the best, just that he brought something. Now God looks at both offerings. Abel's, accepted. Cain's, rejected. And immediately, Cain is furious. His face literally falls, like a toddler denied candy at the store. You can almost hear him grumbling, "Why does Abel get everything? What's wrong with my offering?" At first glance, this might seem unfair. After all, Cain did bring an offering. Shouldn't he get some credit for at least trying? Well, here's where it gets interesting. The problem wasn't what Cain brought. It was how he brought it. Hebrews 11:4 tells us that Abel offered his sacrifice by faith, while Cain didn't. That means Abel's offering came from a place of trust and devotion to God. Cain, on the other hand, was just going through the motions. Let's make it relatable. Imagine two kids doing chores. One joyfully washes the dishes because they love their family. The other drags their feet, sighing dramatically, slamming dishes, and muttering, "Ugh, fine, I'll do it." Which one do you think a parent would appreciate more? Cain's offering wasn't rejected because God played favorites. It was because Cain's heart wasn't in the right place. He wasn't giving his best out of love. He was giving out of duty, expecting a reward. Now here's the part that a lot of people miss. Cain is sulking, and God, like a loving parent, steps in. He basically tells Cain, "Why are you so angry? If you do what's right, you'll be accepted too. But if you don't, be careful. Sin is crouching at your door, and it wants to control you." That's a huge moment. God isn't punishing Cain, he's warning him. He's saying, you still have a choice. Check your heart before it's too late. It's like when you see a friend making bad decisions, and you say, "Hey, I love you, but if you keep going down this road, it's not going to end well." That's what God is doing here. But Cain, he ignores the warning completely. Instead of fixing his heart, Cain fixes the competition. He lures Abel into the field, maybe saying, "Hey bro, let's take a walk." And then he kills him. Why? Because Cain's issue wasn't really with Abel, it was with God. He was mad that he didn't get the approval he wanted. And instead of humbling himself and making things right, he took out his frustration on the nearest target. Ever seen someone fail a test, then blame the teacher? Or lose a game and blame the referee? That's Cain. Instead of taking responsibility, he shifts the blame to someone else. If I can't have God's favor, neither can Abel. This is human nature. We don't like to admit when we're wrong, so we attack others instead. We compare, we compete, we tear people down to make ourselves feel better. But the truth is, Cain's problem wasn't Abel's success. It was his own unwillingness to change. After the murder, God asks Cain, "Where is your brother?" And Cain gives the famous and super sarcastic response, "I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?" Translation, not my problem. But it was his problem. God tells Cain that his brother's blood is crying out from the ground, and because of what he's done, Cain will be cursed. His farming won't produce, and he'll be a restless wanderer. And then get this, Cain complains about his punishment. He says, "This is too much for me." He never shows remorse, never apologizes, never takes responsibility. His main concern, how this affects him. So, back to the big question. Why did Cain really kill Abel? It wasn't just about jealousy. It was about a heart problem. Cain wanted God's approval without being obedient. He wanted blessings without surrendering his heart. And when he didn't get what he expected, he lashed out instead of looking inward. And that's where it gets real for us. Have you ever been mad at someone for getting what you wanted? Have you ever felt resentment when someone else succeeded? Have you ever blamed others for your own mistakes? Cain's story is a warning. If we don't deal with what's in our hearts, it will deal with us. So, next time jealousy creeps in or resentment starts bubbling up, ask yourself, is this really about them? Or is there something in my heart that I need to fix? Because the truth is, Abel wasn't Cain's problem. Cain was Cain's problem. Subscribe